And me.
Oh,
Hello.
hi.
Welcome, assuming you can hear us, to the Tabletop Call-In Show with Adam Bell and Jeremy Gage. We are here to talk about games. You're going to be able to call in about if you've got questions about games or game design, if you want to tell us about a cool game or tell a story about something that happened to you in a game, next to a game, beside a game, whatever. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be fun. I think you can follow the link in the corner of the screen to get access to the Discord where you'll be calling in from. The process is there. You'll have to do a little bit of reading to get it right, but we tested it and people figured it out. So
It has been play stormed.
yeah. So Jeremy, who are we? We should do a little intro of ourselves.
Then go ahead.
Oh, me first? I can't look at I really can't look at you.
You're already talking.
Well, I just figured I'd give a second to maybe if you wanted to jump in. I am Adam Bell. I am a person that I go by he, him. I make some games. I think about games. I'll continue making games. I won't stop. You can find me at Adam E. Bell anywhere, adamebell.games, whatever. Jeremy, what's up?
Hey, how's everyone doing? My name is Jeremy Gage. I am the host of the Draw Your Dice podcast. You can find me at JeremyGage5 over on Twitter. Come check out the podcast, but also continue to call in every week because we literally can't do this without you fine folk.
I mean, I'm sure we could find something to talk about.
No.
What you been doing lately, Jeremy?
Yeah, so I've been booking them. I've been booking all the guests, having all the interviews, sharing the knowledge with the world, working on the Discord server. I'm learning a lot about bots right now.
Cool.
Because they'll be our overlords, and I'm working on Kaleidoscope, and I'm ready to take it to the danger room in like a couple days.
Yeah, Discord live preview of the game. We got to play it. I want to play the game.
Yeah. That's the game I want to play. That's why I'm making it.
Nice.
How about you? What have you been doing? What's been going on in your life, bruh?
Well, started working on this show this past week. I didn't do much game anything this week, which was nice. Sometimes you don't have it, and you just gotta acknowledge that, and instead of trying to push through it, just hang out. So I didn't do anything this week as far as games go. Is that exciting?
Perfect.
Is that good? Is this a good show?
No, that's good. Rest is good. Everyone needs to rest. Listen, everyone in the chat right now.
Yeah.
You need to rest.
Yeah, because then hopefully next week, I will get back to it instead of being burnt out. I'll be like, yeah, actually, I remember why I do this.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to Eldritch Mouse for the big vibe. Yes, Jeremy's outfit is a big vibe. We're gonna read out. We've decided behind the scenes that we're going to read out what people are saying because we podcasted this and you could not tell what was happening because we did not engage with what was said. So thank you. I don't know how it's a big vibe. Feel free to let me know why, because these glasses are coming off. They're hurting my nose.
Yeah, I won't be taking my glasses off because I won't be able to see the screen to answer calls, which, as it turns out, we've got a couple people in the queue.
Which is amazing.
Should we go ahead and make it happen?
Let's motherfucking do it.
All right, I'm going to bring the first caller in.
Come on down.
Hi, thank you for calling in to the Tabletop Call-In Show. Who are we talking to? If you can hear us.
I can hear you.
Ooh.
I can hear you. What an idea. I think we pulled it off.
We're here. We did it. It's the first successful not test show call.
My God.
You want to tell us? I mean, we know who you are, but do you want to tell us who you are and you give your pronouns for the audience? If you have any?
Sure. I'm Spencer Campbell. I use he, him pronouns. Big fan of the both of you. Very excited to sit in and chat with you both.
Yeah, we're big fans. I guess I can't speak for Jeremy. We're big fans of you too.
Jeremy is actually like my nemesis.
Oh, okay.
It's true. I have many.
So how you doing? You got anything you want to talk about today?
Yeah, what
I
question
know.
you got for us, caller?
I racked my brain with some ideas, and I have something that I want. I have a question based off of a conversation that Jeremy and I had just a little bit earlier before this. I want to talk about itch funding, which is the phrase that I'm using because MV mentioned itch funding in the Discord, and I think I like MV's term there. So, like, I'm thinking about alternatives of crowdfunding and stuff like that, and there's always the option of going with Kickstarter or Patreon. We have those known entities. There's also Itch, but like Itch doesn't have all the tools we want, and I'm curious what you think about like what tools or things would you like to see happen on Itch in particular to make Itch funding a more conceivable idea, a more I guess just a viable option in the first place, so that we don't have to leave Itch as a platform. Because I think Itch has a lot of good things going for it. A lot of us are there already as a community. So what are some things that you'd like to see added to Itch that could allow us to do Itch funding rather than jumping ship to a whole new other thing?
You looking at me? You want me to start
I'm
this?
looking at you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. There's a lot of stuff to unpack to even think about this, and I think the first place to start probably would be to think about like what Kickstarter does for us in general, and then like look at Itch, see what it has equivalently to replicate that stuff, and also, what it doesn't, which is the question. I've restated the question.
You did a really good job. I think you did a much better job with the question than I did, so I appreciate that.
So Kickstarter, as I've run a small handful of little Kickstarters in Zine Quest, which what Kickstarter has given is, one, people know about it. It's got the brand recognition. Unfortunately, that's huge. There's something about Kickstarter, like people walk into the green realm and they open their wallets and they dump it on your plate for things that, like, if they walked into a store and saw my game there, they might not buy it, but because it's on Kickstarter, for some reason, the idea of buying it and getting it months later, they do it. And there's a lot to try to understand with that in the first place, but I don't know if that's something that can be replicated. We'll see. Maybe it's the pre-order thing in general. I don't know. So, fuck, I've lost track of something here. So yeah.
No,
jump in.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm trying to help with the train of thought here. Train of thought express, just so that I understand. So it's about how to use Itch to circumvent or get the tools that Kickstarter is providing us. Aside from what Adam is pointing out, is that Kickstarter is a fucking monster when it comes to advertisement and marketing for your game, and there's just this expectation of how to operate when it comes to giving stuff away in terms of money. And when you say when you said, give us money for a product you cannot have yet. It's funny.
It works.
But so, like, I guess for Itch, one of the big things that I've seen, I want to put myself in my place before.
Wait, hang on, Jeremy. I messed up the audio, apparently. All right, say it again. Go back like 2 sentences.
Degreening, which was coined by the Brain Trust Discord, so GMBT to all the Brain Trustees out there. And talking about those conversations about how to get away from Kickstarter. One of the big things is sort of, from what my understanding is, being able to email at mass scale to touch base with different, with all your patrons / crowdfunders. And then sort of tier structures and backer kit things. So I guess tools that I would like to see from Itch are probably some of those tools, email. I know there are people have pointed out that there are tools like that are not getting used in the itch space.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Everything's kind of there, but it's not intuitive to like
Mm-hmm.
use or receive information that way, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can email everybody that purchased something either in general or purchased something at a certain like reward level. You can send an email, but then it kind of just shows up like you sent them an email. Which a lot of people are going to look at like, oh, I got this email from this random person, I'm going to discard this. Whereas like the Kickstarter ones come in from like project update from here's a Kickstarter official email.
Good point, Dan, about the revenue sharing as well. Definitely need some form of revenue sharing, which would be actually probably fucking huge for collaborations in a lot of ways. So would definitely love to see those tools. And just like, I don't know, like figuring out different ways to stretch it. Because, you know, Spencer, you and I have talked about how, like, what tools we have available at current that we can try to recreate the Kickstarter model and start playing with. And, you know, we've seen some examples of people trying to do that with like makeshift total sale stretch goals. And that's one avenue. Like you could just be totally transparent about how much money your game has made up to this point. When you hit that like 2K mark, hey, we get to add a new adventure to this file size trap. So yeah, I guess to sum it all up is when we talk about revenue sharing, when we talk about scale email, it's all about scalability. The thing we don't have from itch right now is like mass intuitive user experience and scalability for your success, right? Because it's way different to manage 100-person customer base and a 10,000 customer base. Like it's just not, they're not the same. They're totally different animals. And it's about scalability for sure. At least that's what I would want to see.
Does that help at all, Spencer? There's a lot.
A ton. I thought that was great. I love it.
This could, yeah. Well, it's just that this could probably be. You could probably just have a podcast that you just talk about this
how to break Kickstarter
every week and like not get to the end of what there is to think about and whatever else. But
just throw you a real softball in your first show. You know, real easy to answer.
That's what we're here for.
Well, this was awesome. Thanks so much for chatting about it. I think it's really exciting, and I think the show is great. We're only 10 minutes in, so keep it up.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being our first caller. Maybe we'll get you like a little pin that says I called in first on the official show. I'm not going to promise that. But
Spencer,
I had the
plug
idea.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Plug a game, plug your Twitter, plug your whatever for people who are not of the trust.
Yeah. For anybody
go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm on Twitter at Gila RPGs, GILA RPGs. It's on lock and key right now, so you're gonna have to join the queue. Otherwise, I'm on YouTube where I do my YouTube series, which is Psych of RPGs. I'm a psychologist, so you can find that. It's the Gila Boy instead of Gila RPGs, so there's a long story behind that we don't have time for, but I think that's mostly it between those two things.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in. And yeah,
Thank you.
For the listener and future callers, you're always welcome to plug your shit, especially at the end. Mm-hmm. So thank you. We're here to support.
Have a great one.
You too. Yeah.
Wow, what a great first guest,
wow.
Adam.
How about that? Wow. Spencer Campbell.
Putting these back on.
Okay. Yeah, you got to put them on for each guest who comes in and probably doesn't see the video.
For all you podcast listeners out there, I'm wearing glasses now.
Yeah, so
wow.
So there's a lot to unpack with that question, of course. We will continue to talk about it. I at some point am gonna be a part. I don't know. This isn't like a specific thing. But at some point, I'm definitely going to be a part of organizing some sort of itch funding, like big event to kill Zine Quest once and for all. But that's the future.
The Lich will find the phylacteries, dude.
Yeah. for sure. Um, yeah, should we take the next call, or what do you think here?
Well, I did want to point out in the chat, a lot of people are talking about the revenue sharing, and I think the future is collaboration, right? I mean, it's not really the future; it's happening now, but it's figuring out how to get everybody paid and figure out easing. Like it's about scalability, right? It's about the scalability of your project and assessing your budget based on what you're capable of executing in a efficient and path of least resistance manner, for a less refined term, right?
Yeah.
So good job, everyone. Keep talking about it in the chat. I'm looking at it.
User Will Yobst asks, are you a cool enough dude to kill Zine Quest? And the answer is no, but we, as a collective, are stronger together, cooler together, and can kill the Lich once and for all.
Also, isn't that what leveling up is for?
That's true.
So, yeah. I can become a cool enough dude to kill Zine Quest. It's got to try real hard.
All right, let's see. Who's
next? Who's next, Adam? Who are we bringing in here?
Looking like we're getting.
Probably say who's next before we start.
Looking like we're getting Discord user. It's Dan Phipps is getting slid in 3, 2, 1. Hello. Thanks for calling the Tabletop Call-In Show. Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is Dan Phipps from Gemroom Games.
Couldn't have guessed it.
Welcome, Dan.
Yeah, almost as if you knew what was happening before it happened. Sorry for any background noise, but I am currently bouncing on a yoga ball at about 120 beats per minute, desperately trying to keep this newborn child from screaming instead of eating. A thing she needs to do to live.
Hi, baby Dan Phipps.
Yes. Everyone say hi to Eleanor. We've kept her alive for 2 whole months, and I'm going to brag about it to anyone who will listen.
That's impressive. I'm impressed when I can keep myself alive for 2 whole months every 2 months, and so doing it to some third-party body of flesh.
The best parenting advice I ever got, legitimately, and it was during a playtest for an unrelated game, but the best parenting advice I ever got was, if at the end of the day everyone's fed and no one's dead, you know, that's one in the win column. Just make it there. Don't worry about therapy bills. Just get to the finish line, and you'll do okay.
Is that the question?
No. Sorry.
Yeah, if you want to call in about any parenting advice that Jeremy and I could give, we're here for you.
I'm sorry for being that guy. But,
no.
What I actually wanted to talk about was my favorite part of the game design process, and I was curious if you two had ever messed with it, or anyone in chat, but the part of game design when you settle in and you make your game a mixtape, make a playlist on Spotify or Bandcamp to sort of really settle into the tone or the groove of it. You know, if either of you had done it before, or if it's just me, and also to encourage folks to try that, because it's really worked for me in getting the fit and finish on a game. Before
either of us answer, I want to hear what's on one of these mixtapes.
So let's see. Which computer am I on? So I've been working on a project for about a month now. Wait, more than a month. I've been working on a project for off and on forever. But the playlist is, we're scrolling. It's called Psychedelic Fantastique. We've got Sticky Hulks by the OCs, Night by John Carpenter, Summoner by Big Black Delta, a band called Damaged Bug with The Mirror, just a lot of really moody, not fully, black metal energy, because that's a bit much, more just sort of like, like good tunes to look over at a blasted landscape to.
Okay.
Subway Runners was written with a real lo-fi beats energy, real vaporwave. Let's see, I actually rewrote a game. Let me see, what is the name of this song? Wrong song. Here we go. So the first game I ever made available for money I had to rewrite the entire thing after listening to Twilight of the Thunder God by Amon Amarth.
So
It worked out.
we're-
Oh no! Am I also gone? I'm seeing Adam gone.
You're here for us.
I'm here for
Adam?
you.
Hello? Are you there?
Zine Quest got us.
Oh, Adam is loading.
Adam is loading. Oh man.
Oh, you can hear Jeremy and Dan. Well,
Oh.
welcome to the Jeremy and Dan Phipps show.
Welcome to the Jeremy-
Next caller.
Yeah, no, I've it's a one in, one out situation. Just
It's a round
we
robin
really went
call-in
for a
show.
Swiss round tournament. I guess it's more of a Mortal Kombat style tournament. Like oh,
I think I'm alive.
Adam,
I think
Yes.
you're alive.
Cool.
are you okay?
My computer, I unplugged. There was a PS4 controller under my desk. I unplugged it, and my whole computer froze. So I guess the show runs on a PS4 controller.
Yeah.
Now I gotta fix my
There's
camera.
a slogan.
They say they can hear you, but they can't see you.
Yeah, that's in process. Sorry to interrupt, Dan.
No worries. I don't know what I said that was heard, but basically, because tone control is so important to your game, especially when you're first starting out, and if you can really zero in that, you know what? Sometimes it's a yacht rock game. Sometimes it's really Halls and Oatsy in here, and having that on in the background, for me at least, it really helps. Like, when you're on Word Hippo and you're trying to find the right synonym for strength. Again,
I hate it.
It's the worst. Don't do it. Don't put stats in your games. But if you do, it just, for me, it just really helps to set a vibe. Stats are bad, and also I'm broken inside and can't get rid of them, and will keep putting them in my game. So when I do,
Constantly hurting. I'll go first to give you some recovery time, Adam.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, I have done this. I have absolutely created playlists for stuff that for everyone that may not know, I attempted twice to do Nanowrimo, which if you don't know, in November you attempt to write 50,000 words of some sort of writing project. It's supposed to be traditionally a novel, but it can be a ton of other text-based things. Failed miserably, but I guess not failure. I got to like 30,000, but never made a book out of it.
whoa!
Good practice. I'm sure you have 30,000 words in something.
I mean, distributed across many things, sure. I'm sure I hyper-focused and wrote a lot of words, but that's a high score. That's something to be proud about.
Thank you. But I just this is coupling with what I was gonna say, but I just played Lighthearted for the first time by Kurt Potts, birthday twin, last week, and I played the Lighthearted Spotify playlist, which was amazing. I don't listen to 80s music. All that music was goddamn jam, and music resonates really deeply with me, especially like hip hop, lo-fi, game music, like game symphony music and J-rock and stuff like that. So whenever I make a game, I try to envision, it's a lot of anime scores. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of like My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan, like running in my playlists. But I definitely as a part of my process, or even when I'm just playing games, like music, like you said, I think music really helps to establish. I wrote down immersion and touch points, because if you're bringing someone like another player to the table and they're not familiar with that like genre of game, like an example would be, I have a lot of friends that play D&D, but they've never played something like Blades in the Dark before. And so I would look up like Blades in the Dark playlists to send them, like the Dishonored soundtrack, something like that, and just say like, hey, this is kind of like the vibe of the game. And there's something intrinsic about music that kind of, I don't know, says something to a certain person. They pick up the vibes of what's going on. So the answer to your question is yes, with a long-winded explanation of why yes.
Well, if the answer was just yes, this show would be very short. Or you'd be going through callers very fast.
Oh, we're gonna do that at some point.
No, there's a lightning round coming. Be ready, everybody. Look for that episode.
My answer is no, I haven't done that.
Show over.
No, I'm more. I definitely see the appeal and use of that, but whenever I listen to music, I mostly just put on an album and don't think about it, which is just a personal thing because it's work to make a playlist. But if somebody gives me a playlist for like a game or something, I'll probably listen to it. Because that's a great thing. Yeah, everybody else should do that. Yeah. I refuse.
So what you're saying is we gotta find out what you're working on next and cut you a mixtape.
Yeah, you do.
Vibe on.
That'd be great if you can. I don't even know what I would put on the stuff I'm working on. Maybe that's my problem.
Well, yeah, that's you delegate that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's good stuff.
Music consulting for Dan Phipps and myself to come to Adam's games and just be like, yeah, so I'm thinking about this thing that's like an OSR sci-fi. I'm thinking about adding like D&D because Adam Bell loves D&D.
Yes.
And and then me and Dan just go, yeah, I think that you should totally put Erykah Badu in there.
Out of curiosity, who picked the music when before the show started? Because that was extremely choice, and whoever picked that is actually now king of music. That tune was jaunty as hell.
I was a little upset to see that everybody in the chat was loving that music. I can't lie.
We shit so much on that music before this show.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's very bad, but also extremely good. Like, I was there. I was transported. I was ready to talk to a mysterious hooded stranger in the corner about, like, maybe some quests or to hire him to go to a dungeon.
I think whenever I found it first and sent it to Jeremy, and I think with the text, lol, I can't find anything. Jeremy told me that this was first time 5e DM type music, which is accurate.
Oh God, I'm gonna die.
All right. Well, Dan, thank you for calling in a chat. It's lovely to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a plug really quick. If
please,
that's cool.
Yes.
Please
yes.
do.
Yes, that's what the show's about.
My partner Kali and I are releasing our first game, or I guess it's a Morkborg module, and we're finally gonna tell people the title, even though everyone on the Brain Trust has known forever, which is Life is Like a Hurricane here in Dokbor. Dokbor. So look out for Morkborg Adventures in Calisota. We're going to be working on the layout after these kids have gone to bed and releasing a PDF tomorrow morning.
Oh, wow. That's soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's coming out tomorrow. Oh, man. I'm going to start doing art drops, and I'm so excited because Rob Bear, who did Demon Castle Dracula, did the art for us that like wasn't weird public domain stuff, and it's so choice. It looks so good. This shit post really, it's taken off, y'all. I'm so excited.
That's the best way to design.
To share it with you. Yeah,
just shit post and then make it real.
Well, it's about found family, really, when you think about it. It's got layers. I'm really excited to share it with y'all. So, yeah, keep an eye on it'll be at gemroomgames.itch.io, and we'll be posting a lot of duck puns on the Gemroom Games Twitter account. So check those out, because it's gonna be real. It's really happening.
Awesome.
It's really real.
I regret to inform you that it's actually happening.
I love it.
All right.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you. This is great. Good show.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Eleanor, for being first baby.
Yeah, Eleanor fell. Nope, not asleep. Eyes are pointed in the wrong directions, away from each other. Okay, cool. That's a normal baby thing.
I bet.
Extremely,
All right. Thanks, Dan. We will talk to you
thanks.
later.
Bye, Dan.
Bye.
Should I kick? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, power move.
Yes. All right, music and games, huh?
Yeah, I love it. I love music. I love games. I love putting them together. I'm here for peanut butter and chocolate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
What is the Reese's peanut butter cup of music and games? Like, what's the one playlist to game combo that's just transcendent of time? Which apparently
God.
I don't believe that about.
Am I
Reese's
answering
cups.
this question?
Yeah,
Am
yeah.
I the
You
world's,
are.
Am I the world's best role playing game? God, that's so hard. I don't know. I'm really excited for Silk Sonic. It's the collaboration for Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars, and I've been trying to explore like hip hop fantasy a lot. So, whatever that is,
So
hip hop fantasy plus my dream team of Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak.
I'm looking forward to that. That'll be good.
Will Yopes, yes, Will Yopes gets me. Silk Sonic.
I hadn't heard about Silk Sonic, but I bet
Well,
I'm gonna listen to it.
fucking hear about it because it's lit.
All right, let's get the next caller in here.
I'm sorry. I'm
Here
really
comes
aggressive.
MB.
I'm naturally aggressive.
Boom. Hey, thanks for calling the Tabletop Call-In Show. Who are we talking to? Whatever.
Oh, hello there. It's MV.
Hey.
Hey,
I'm calling in from Brussels, Belgium.
international
Yeah, we
guest,
got-
first timer.
Yep.
Another pin, first non-US caller, to my
Gotta
knowledge.
get that. And I love music. I love the show. It's perfect.
Music.
Music. I love
Music
it.
will not stay the same.
Wait. So I want to call in actually about game jams.
Okay.
I'm a big game jam enthusiast. I host a website that kind of tries to collect all the jams that are out there connected to tabletop games. And I was thinking of ways to kind of experiment with the game jam sort of format and what itch.io allows you to like host as a jam, because it has a bunch of features to it. So kind of just want to hear your thoughts. Like, what do you think an experimental game jam could be? Because for one, itch.io game jams have the community tab, which allows you to do threads on the jam page itself, not connected to games. And then you have sort of the like rating period, where you can have sort of a month everyone submits games, and a month everyone rates each other's games.
Mhm.
So this interaction is also interesting, not utilized a lot. And I've seen a lot of also like crowd collected collections, essentially. There was the end of the year 2020 jam that everyone could submit their like sort of best game of the year.
Ooh.
That was very fun to see what everyone kind of offered from their games that they thought were very good. And also the ZineQuest jam, which is actually still going on, and everyone submitted their sort of like itch.io pages that were connected to their ZineQuest games. So yeah, just all these sort of ways you could utilize game jams. I'm sort of rambling here already, so what are your thoughts on this?
What are your thoughts of my ramblings? I am a jam infant. I know zero things about jams, period. So, Adam.
Yes. Which way are you? Over here?
Take it. Take the floor.
All right. So I think the first one kind of ties into the last thing you said, and also to our first call about potential itch funding situation. So my current idea for the supposed event that may one day replace Zine Quest in our hearts would definitely revolve around a game jam and around that discussion forum, where like everybody that's doing a funding project would post their project to a jam, so you could collect everything, and it would be just like the Zine Quest tag, except for instead of having to beg and email Kickstarter games to get on there, you could just submit it yourself. And then the community tab could be about like talking about the different projects, setting up different collections to be like, oh, here's all the projects that, like, here's a thread for all of the projects that are jamless games. Here's a thread for all the projects that are like OSR supplements. And so like you can have that little bit of granularity. So that's one. I want to see that. Another idea that I would like to see happen at some point, but don't have the stones to run, the spoons to run. That's the phrase.
Okay.
It'd be similar to like the I think it was the acoustic cover jam a while back, but I'd love a 2-part jam where like everybody submits something at the beginning, and then there's like a second phase where everybody looks at what's been submitted and like calls dibs on different projects and like hacks it or remixes it in some way. So it's like a two-way
remix jam.
Yeah, like a 2-part remix jam. Whether the first part is submitting something completely new or submitting one of your already existing games, I don't know. I mean, I didn't get that far.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, it was called either the Reflection or the Refraction Jam. I think Refraction, but I'm not sure. Basically, you could submit a game that was like sort of very lightweight, very like this Ashcan style, just sort of text and minimal graphics. And other people could take that and just hack and create their own version of it, iteration of it. So yeah, I think that's a great idea and could really sort of help out new designers in like an even more way than game jams already do, because game jams are sort of already an invitation to design. So like, yeah, take this game or take this idea and just run with it. But the refraction jam like that is like, oh, here's an idea and it's like already half cooked and you just need to sort of that was a weird metaphor, I'm sorry.
It's half cooked.
No, did you hear the Stone Soup conversation? Stone Spoon conversation?
Or maybe like a half assembled IKEA furniture. So you just gotta get the other half.
Yeah, actually that is a nice take on that, because if you turn that over to like, I think it was Chris Bassett a while back posted an itch page that was just titled like Detritus, which was just a bunch of ideas that like would have been good games if they were followed through with, but Chris just didn't have time for it, and so just said, here's all this. If everybody just like dumped their detritus into a jam and then everybody else like combed through all that and like took one of those ideas and ran for it, that could be pretty cool.
That's awesome, actually. Yeah, so like it helps people who kind of don't have like, I don't know, brain energy to finish a game, or just
that's me,
like have some documents lying around that they are not like as into it anymore, and just give it into the world. And other designers who are having trouble starting with games, they can just iterate on that, what's already there. Yeah, that's a perfect idea. I have to run this now. Damn. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
you're welcome for your new idea. You can have it.
I would like to participate. I'm looking over at there's a door to my right where I have Post-it notes for different things that I would like to do at some point. There are 21 Post-it notes on that door.
Oh, so Post-its.
Like a
turn the camera.
Discreet.
No, don't turn
I
show us your house.
World Champ Gameco asks, you say Post-its. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Adam Bass is the lord of Post-its.
That's also true.
Is there a
Believes
different
in
word?
Post-it design.
Sticky notes. Oh,
Sticky notes. Yes.
Look,
That's
me
not
personally,
Post-its?
I'm a brands guy.
Yeah, you only get Kleenex. You don't get tissues. Sponsorships.
Yeah,
Come on.
please. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks, MV, for the wonderful question.
Oh,
Do you have
thank you
anything?
so much.
Do you have anything to plug here before?
I have a lot of stuff.
I'm ready.
I was born ready for this show. So I'm running a jam right now. Actually, it's called the Light Strike Jam. It's a jam. I was inspired like instantly to make this jam because I read Spencer Campbell's new module Fuel for his light RPG, and it's like it introduces these strikes, which are like adventures basically for the light RPG, and it's this very lightweight and it has a very cool structure to it. And I was like, damn, this is so cool. I gotta make a game, but I gotta make a jam first to submit my game to that jam. So I just made a jam. It's Light Strike Jam. You can find it on my Twitter. It's at @mayvisit, and my game's at mvmv.itch.io. Perfect. Thank you so much for the show.
Yeah.
I
Thanks
love
for
it.
calling in.
Yeah.
We'll talk to
see
you.
ya.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I didn't get to.
Wow.
Yeah.
MVP, do it. MV now owns the show.
Game jams. Oh, yeah, there's something that I often click join jam and much less often click submit project to jam.
The retention ratio for click to click ratio is small.
I'd like to do more, but I have no control over my creative process. So
I did think about how when you two were talking about someone starts a game and then two-parter, someone finishes a game, I was thinking about I had Clayton Notestein on for interview a couple days ago, so look forward to that episode for Draw Your Dice. But we talked about how visual design is game design when you're thinking about layout and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would also be interested in a two-parter. It's like someone writes a game and then someone is strictly just like visually designing a game. Like that's the second part. Like here, now you get layout practice because we see that all the time, or at least I see that on like sites like what's it called, Dribble and whatever the fucking non-Adobe one is. I can't remember, but there's collaboration projects all the time on there where someone's taking inspiration from someone else and like, hey, I really like Francesca's website designs. This is a take on Francesca's designs in my own style or whatever, right? So I think doing a two-parter like that where it encompasses some sort of like customer-facing part of the jam. So like someone writes the game and someone does like, I don't know, art for it for the second half, or like not just writing, but also sort of visual design creation, since that's a part of the product anyways at the end of the day. So
yeah, no, that's a cool idea. Like everybody submits a game and then everybody lays somebody else's game out is like a great thing. So obviously varied results, because like me laying out a game versus Adam Vass laying out a game, we're gonna see a lot two different things. One will be super cool, that's not mine, and one will be functional at least.
At minimum.
Yeah, I can promise that. But yeah, that would be a cool thing to do, because if somebody else, I've never had anybody lay out one of my games, which is, it's eventually I'll try that. But that sounds like a cool thing to see your words in some way that you never thought about doing that. Yeah.
I also thank you everyone for correcting me. It is Behance is the Adobe one, and that was the one I couldn't think of. So shows you how much I know.
Let's take another caller. Discord user Tony+1 is coming in next. Let me get the react on
This
that.
is an animal reference also for anyone who sees me clap like this.
I can't. Hey, welcome to the Tabletop Call-In Show. Who is here?
This is Tony Vacinda.
Hey, Tony. How's it going?
Hi, Tony.
How's it going? I'm doing good. I'm skipping out on a family event that's happening upstairs right now in order to come hang out in the basement with y'all. It's probably whether it's the right choice or not doesn't matter. It's the choice that happened, and no one's come to find me yet. That's the other important thing, which means there's enough fun happening upstairs. I was like, I'm gonna go do a thing real quick. I'll be right back. And no one asked me what the thing was, and so I felt justified. I was going to ask about jams. Now I feel intimidated. And also Jeremy has told me that he knows nothing about them, so it seems like a bad follow-up question.
You don't know what I don't know until you know it.
That's true. I think I would love to maybe know this. Damn it. Can we start over again? Can you guys say this is Tony Vicenda?
Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling the Tabletop Call-In Show. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, thanks. This is Tony. First time caller, long time listener. Great. And really excited to be here. No, I think I want to know this. Who is somebody who y'all would love to have call in, just from a surprise standpoint, but would also immediately make you feel like sellouts on this show if they ever did? That's the question I'm going to jump to.
I immediately thought of Bezos. No joke. I'd be like, no.
Like, totally honored that they called, but then immediately after hanging up at the end of the conversation, you'd feel like, okay, we've peaked and now we're too big.
So we have to feel honored. So that's already, we're eliminating a lot of contenders.
Bezos is out.
Yeah.
He will hunt for Atlantis all by himself.
Feel honored, but feel after a little sense of shame about selling out. That's an interesting combination of choices here.
Wow. What a...
Yeah.
I feel partly is like, there are some names that are popping in my head, but I feel like it would be a dunk based on what I've talked about in the past on my own show. So I really don't want to do that. I don't want to endanger Adam Bell here. Fuck, this is such a hard question, Tony.
You got
me. I was known in high school for being somebody who could stop a conversation at any point just by asking a really out of place question, and I'm really glad that I've been able to call into your show right now and make that happen for you 20 years later.
Yeah, it's actually evolved, and you're going to end a whole show with this question.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, this is a great one episode of a show we had. Then Tony called in and ruined everything.
All right, okay, let's see.
You want to do the question in parts? Who would be people you'd just be incredibly excited if they called in?
Well, the thing is, there is anybody in games. Anybody that I haven't talked to on the internet before but likes games would be a cool thing. I mean, I like people that I have talked to because it's a lot easier to talk to people I've talked to. But somebody that I've read their game but never interacted with, that would be a cool thing. I don't have any specific answers yet. What are you thinking, Jeremy?
I think that I would pick Travis Willingham from Critical Role, because he's probably the strongest reason why I keep watching the show. I like his role play and everything like that. So I think it would be interesting for him to call in. I just think he's a cool dude for what I know about him at internet arm's length.
It's another reason for me to rekindle my relationship with one of my high school friends, Laura Bailey.
No way. That's cool. That's cool. Good for you.
We haven't talked in 18 years, but
hey, she's winning a lot of voice actress awards.
It's true.
She's been in the game for a long time.
All right. Well, I've punished y'all enough. I'm super excited by this show. I'll have a legit question next time I call in. I had 3, but they got worked through, and so this just seemed like the most awkward one I could possibly ask.
It's a good question. It's a difficult question.
This is heckle practice. This is like when y'all get big, when the world is open again, when you're doing live shows on the main stage at Gen Con. You guys will be ready because of this moment.
We got to get ready to answer gamer questions.
All right, we'll talk to y'all later.
All right, thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Have a good family gathering.
Wait, plug yourself. Wait.
Yeah, wait.
Hey, my name's Tony DeCinda. I run a little brand called Plus One EXP. You can find us at plus1exp.com across all social media platforms. You find everything we do at plus1exp.com. We're a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. If you're a game designer out there and you want to help us to help you find players who would love to play your game, we'd love to do that. If you're a game player, we'd love to help you find designs that you can play. Also, our most recent release is Beards and Beyond. It's a legitimately better than it should be game that's based around beards. You can go check all that out at plus1exp.com. And we're about to have a bunch of copies of Hieronymus in our store by Lori, who I'm a huge fan of. So check that out also.
Awesome. Yeah, do check it out. It's good stuff.
Strongest rehearsed branding I've ever heard.
I can't
We'll
even.
talk to you later.
Yes, yeah. I can't even say my Twitter handle without stuttering. So that is impressive shit.
Yeah.
We got 3 callers left in the queue here. I just closed it, and by closed it I mean I said the words closing the queue, so we can get through these 3 before the end of the show. Speed round, maybe. No, we'll see how it goes. It's the first time we can go over. Let's see. Yeah, Discord user Viditya is next. And then I give that pause so that he can hear it on the stream, and then I'll...
Yeah. Yes.
And hello. Thanks for calling the Tabletop Call-In Show. Who is this?
Hello.
Hello.
everybody. What is it? First time listener, long time caller, Viditya Valeti over here.
Yeah. Great.
I'm so excited. I'm Viditya. I use he, him pronouns. I just want to first and foremost, y'all are doing a great job. I love this. This is making my day wonderful.
That's very kind.
Thank you.
I'm having a good time.
I'm having a good time.
Good.
I'm having a better time.
All right, I have a question for you. So I'm kind of seeing a theme with a few of the questions about. We're talking about platforms, right? We're kind of talking about what jam culture on itch, or what can we do to degreen and all this whatnot, right? So I want to talk about and music, what does it mean to listen to music while you play a game? So my question for y'all is, there's a bunch of virtual tabletops around, right? We have Roll20, we have Roll, we have other multiverses coming out. There's a bunch, right? There's a shit ton. So I kind of want to ask y'all, what do you want out of a virtual tabletop that you can't find out right now? And what if you had to craft one, what's the dream virtual tabletop for you? And then a side question, an additional, if you want to talk about it, if this is an easy one, is with what is available right now, what is something in, say, Roll20 or in Roll or in Miro that kind of what's a game that can only be played in these digital spaces, right? Similar vibe to this Discord has Ghosts in it, but I'm asking about this because recently I proposed I've yet to see a game that rolls a D69 because we live in an age that you can roll a D69. So this is my question.
Yeah. You looking at me? No, I'm looking at you. You first.
Okay.
I got a lot
All
of
right.
thoughts, so...
I also have a ton of thoughts. This is going to be thank you, Viditya, for your question. So, I don't know how much to talk about this, not because it's secret, but because me and Spencer have been jiving on what we're calling tabletop role-playing, or ecosystem digital tabletop role-playing games, also known as live tabletop role-playing games. And the concept is that we've been this is going to go into the virtual tabletop question. But the concept is that we're talking about, as a design principle, never going to print with our games. And the reason why we're thinking about this is that we're very inspired by video games, and me specifically, I'm very inspired by MMORPGs like World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2 or whatever have you. And our conversations have led us to sort of decipher out into creating ecosystems for our games. So for instance, I talk a lot about classic, or even better is is probably Spencer's Games Light and Frame being reframed. The both of those games have delineations of rating and adventures and resources and loot and all these other things, and talking about introducing the concepts of patch notes, expansions, hot fixes, and designing a game that's kind of in a constant update state, right? Like when you go to print in a game and you put that book out and you want to change something about it, you have to now start to construct a whole new like print structure for it to update that game. If you want to update the core rules or whatever, right? You have to think about a new edition. What if you just got rid of the whole edition concept and just went digital and just said, hey, we're, D&D 5e, we hear a lot of people are not jiving with the Ranger class. We're going to take that to the next 2 weeks, take it to the design team, and then you'll get a patch update then. And then the game's changed. Like if you want to keep the old rules, that version can live on in infamy in like a backlog or something, but it's just this updating thing. So to bring that full circle into the virtual tabletop thing being the premise is that I would love to see, because I don't love Roll20. I think it has some weak JavaScript features. And after Will Yope's experience with Torque for Roll20, I just feel all the stress coming off of them into me. So I think that what I want to see is just better attempts at coding or applications or just really like just creating better, like just hiring the software developer necessary to make this thing happen in a smart way and really taking the user experience to heart. Because one of the things I don't like about the Roll application, which by the way is the worst way you could ever create a name to Google something, because I literally can't find the site anytime I search for it. It doesn't have a great real estate for character sheet building and sort of your design principles on a game. Your principles on a game now have to reflect how they fold into the Roll application, and that's not beneficial to you. I mean, it's cool to be a workaround, like if it's a challenge for you, but it's not ideal. It's not a great user experience. So I guess ultimately the answer I have is that I need more user experience from games. I need it to be easier from virtual tabletops. I need it to be easier for people to access. And I love Miro. I think Miro is great. I think it has a lot of tools in it, aside from like rolling dice, like a digital roller inside of itself. Like you can obviously use another application, but again, it's that user experience, keeping it all convenient. That's what I want from a VTT.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
That kind of segues into what I want pretty well, which I don't want to notice that I'm using one. I just want to be playing a game and like I'm using a tool. Like this should be the goal for any software that ever exists. You shouldn't notice the tools that you're using, because if they're designed well enough, then you just using it as effortlessly as like shuffling. Did something happen?
Yeah. Oh, it didn't go about it for me for a second. My connection got spotty for a second, so I didn't get anything that you said.
So I was saying, like using one of these tools for any software, but like VTTs as well, should be as effortless as like grabbing a deck of cards and shuffling. You don't think about the mechanics of shuffling a deck of cards. You just shuffle it once you know how to do it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so like any software that every step of the way you're like, yes, I'm certainly using Roll20, which is the entire Roll20 experience. It's like every button press, you are aware that Roll20 is standing there and is between you and your play.
There's actually another player and it's Roll20.
Yeah, there absolutely is. So it kind of segues into like, why don't we have that? We've got all of these options, and I mean that opens
it's
me.
Fucking 2021, dude.
Well, that opens us into an entire discussion about like capitalist competition and how, people like to pretend that competition drives innovation, but really all it drives is a stratification of any given market. So Roll20 was invented or was created first, probably at least over a decade now, I would think. And
I'll go fact check that.
In that time, like it has been created and maintained by one team to engage with games exactly how they want to engage with games, which is fine. That's great. But if we had a better world, the tools that somebody creates like that. So when somebody makes Roll20, that just could get released out into the world, and then through a collaborative process, people could gradually refine it until it is the thing that until it meets more needs than just the one that people needs, or the people that make it. But instead what we have is, Roll20 kind of sucks. I'm going to make my own. And then you make Roll, and like Roll does some things better, but like the voice and video there, I hope, are better.
I pray.
Because if they're not, then you got a problem. But then they're missing some other features of like customization and a shared tabletop. And so then you go to playingcards.io, and playingcards.io kind of does exactly what it says. You can play cards, but it's missing chat. It's missing expandable. It's missing a lot of things, but like cards in Roll20 are a nightmare.
An absolute dude.
As somebody who has mastered the use of card decks in Roll20, like I'm good at it. It sucks.
Why did you do this to yourself?
It's useful for 2 of my games. I need it.
Right, yeah.
But then to touch on that just slightly, on that specific comment, I played with you Blood Clock Tower. I'm sorry, I can't ever remember the fucking name of the full name of the game. Say it for people.
Blood on the Clock Tower.
Blood on the Clock Tower. There is a website specifically dedicated to its mechanics and its user experience to make sure that you can operate the game to the fullest of its ability. So like that's what I'm talking about when I talk about a digital only tabletop game that has an ecosystem that works for it. And sure, that's going to be a lot of work, especially if you're creating a lot of games in a year. I do not deny that. But so is trying to figure out how to print to other countries, right? Like trying to figure out how to distribute to Canada or Indonesia or anything like that. And the cost of those things. When you think about a digital internet application, yes, are there different accessibilities to that than compared to print? Absolutely. But I don't know. It's just like if we're looking at the digital landscape as it's constantly evolving and taking considerations like Bloodied Clock Tower, it's just not gonna stick, dude. I don't know what it is, but it's a built-in ecosystem that operates to the specific ability it needs to, and it feels good. Like I came in, never have played before, and I immediately knew like what I'm capable of. Rip. I'm also really smart, but that is another conversation.
In the chat, we've got MV talking about CompCon and the Zone. CompCon being the digital tool that you use to play Lancer that seems pretty good. Game-specific tools are great, but again, that plays more into, like, if I want to make a game that is a similar level of heft as a Lancer, and I want to make a software, I pretty much have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being able to take what's out there, which like changes depending on if those developers make something open source, but I don't see that often. And also I would have to learn whatever. I'd have to learn to code better than I know how now.
But you can hire a coder, right? It's about collaboration. You don't have to do it by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But you kind of do right now because that shit's expensive.
Yeah, like you want now we're talking about like the ethical dilemmas of like I want to collaborate but not for free kind of thing, Like,
Yeah. Did that answer your question, Viditya?
It did. No, this is really great. I loved kind of thinking about, because I'm constantly teetering between, especially with my like resurgence and love of like making with my hands again, like I'm like making small zines. I don't care if they're done or good, I just like making them, so I'm like really in a physical space. But then also I think about the D69 and I go like, we live in a digital age, I like y'all touched on some good stuff about like, it's like, do we like push, like how do we push games for the digital age, and like what does that look like when RPGs, like literally tabletop games are made for the virtual tabletop versus like how do we emulate the physical one and all this stuff. Like it's cool. This is great. Y'all said some good stuff about this. I loved it.
Awesome.
Great.
You have anything to plug before we shuffle you out of here, because we are already a little over time and have 2 people left to talk to?
Yeah, I'll get my plugs in real quick. Thank you. I'm Viditya Valetti. You can find me on Twitter at Viditya Valetti. You can find my games at vidityavaletti.itch.io. But I'll also quickly plug that I am a cast member on the All Nerds Here Twitch network. We're an actual play network. We're a diverse cast of all queer and BIPOC people. And on Wednesdays, you should come and watch Corazon Station and All BIPOC Let's Play, actual play of Pasión de las Pasiones in a sci-fi setting. It's real cool. I love it. It's, I think, some of the best role playing I'm doing and I'm seeing out there. So you should definitely come along. And also, currently happening right now, actually, is our Sunday show, Sunflower Street Presents For the Dungeon, where it's a bunch of puppets. They're puppets playing for the dungeon.
Mhm.
It's very good. It's very fun. So if y'all are looking for somebody to raid after this, they're gonna be, and it's really cool. So yeah, that's those are my plugs.
Cool. Thank you. I'll try to figure out how to raid before I hit stop stream.
Yeah, yeah, same.
It's in the dashboard. If you go to the actual Twitch dashboard, not
Okay.
the stream or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Next caller is user Ice Cold Brew. In 3, unless you've got something else to talk about.
No, I think we hit the nail on the head. We're the smartest people on the planet.
Hey, thanks for calling the Tabletop Call-In Show. Who are we speaking? Wow, fuck. Who are we?
Who talk we do?
This is Ice Cold Brew Talk. Longtime fan, 30-minute listener.
Perfect.
That's fair. That's a fair way to put it. Forever a fan. Only just started, but
Slash playtime. How long have I been listening?
Yeah. I think my question is, had to write it down because I knew I was going to forget, and I'm glad I did. But one of the big things I've been fighting with right now is kind of like game design stall out, where like you get to that point where you're making a game and you kind of have like an idea where you want it to go, and you have like a skeleton made, but then you're like, okay, now what's the next step I go into? And I want to know how you fight against that and like how you can overcome that, because right now I've basically taken like a month off just to think it over. And sorry, I just told the chat and said skeleton made. But yeah, I've taken a month away from it. I've talked to some other friends about it, and I've been trying to get I know what my big idea is. I'm just trying to get the right beats to it. I know I'm trying to figure out what that next step is in the game, you know? How do you fight against that?
good question. Jeremy, do you want to start or?
Sure. Yeah. So I think in our test call, which you can listen to on your favorite podcast provider, I did a slight answer to this question before that I think is really useful. So, I actually also have a devlog. Anyways, two methods that I like to use to help my brain to reignite. One is I found this was off of an ADHD forum that my partner is a part of, where they talk about the Pomodoro timer. Essentially, the concept is that it's 25 minutes on, like typing, writing, whatever you're doing creatively, and then 5 minutes off. And then after 4 rounds, it's a full 25 minutes off where you just step away and not do anything. Basically, the idea behind it is that your brain is running and you have to pace it. If you try to go in for 3 hours staring at a blank document, try to imagine running for 3 hours straight and just not taking a break. It's the same concept.
Yeah.
Pomodoro. Thank you, Will Yopes, for correcting me, because I hate remembering names.
It means tomato. So you could say tomato timer if you wanted.
Tomato timer. The second thing is that your brain might also be hungry. And what I mean by that is that it lacks inspiration to sort of pocket away for another day. So I often whenever I find that my brain is not operating with me, and that has happened very recently, it's mainly because I've not read a book on the subject matter I'm writing about, or read another game that does similar things for what I'm trying to accomplish, right? Because at some point you can take delineations from almost anything you're researching. So looking up pictures or art or watching a show or film or listening to music, and just like, your brain's hungry. Your brain just doesn't have anything left to give, and it's mainly because you haven't fed it anything to keep in the reserves.
Okay.
That's my answer.
I think that's a good start. I think one thing I would say is I think you're on a good track to, you said you kind of like walk away for a bit and then come back to it. I think that's a great thing in general. Like, you can't force it. You can't force yourself to get it right immediately. And if you need to walk away, like, that's fine. And one thing I do there is, I don't think I should necessarily recommend it, but I just have a ton of projects that I'm working on at any given time. So, like, if I'm trying to work on the one big one and I'm stuck and I don't know how to move forward with it, often just like saying, I can't deal with this today, but I can work on this other smaller one today. Just the act of doing the creativity on something else, often I will end up getting an idea that like will unlock the next step in the bigger project. So that's one thing. Another thing is to just try to play it. This is another thing talked about in the Not Real episode. If you can get a group together that you can be upfront and say, hey, this might suck, but let's just try it so I can see why it sucks. Because it's like, I'm intuiting that it's not going to be as good as I want it to be, but I don't. You might not know exactly why it's not going to be as good as you want it to be. Just playing it and running into those blocks immediately will help you, like, figure out what to do next. Because if you just know non-specifically something needs to be fixed here or added here, but don't know what, like, just jumping in and struggling through it could help you get there.
Kicks the brain problem solving brain on.
Yeah, I often do that in my head. Like, if I'm not actively at a computer trying to write something, if I'm like lying down trying to go to sleep or something like that, I'll just start playing a work in progress game in my head, and then I'll get an idea on how to fix it, and then I'll put it in my phone and hopefully deal with it tomorrow and not stay up all night. So don't do it in bed, but like play through it in your head. Like, imagine what it's actually like to do the thing.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Also, kind of weird side question. Do you guys ever have like a shit ton of ideas hit you all at once when you're in the shower?
Yes.
I have a whiteboard in my shower for that very instance.
Oh my God.
That's really smart.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
How's that work?
I just leave it like in the dryer back portion.
Just like on the upper top section.
Yeah, so there. Just it'll get wet or whatever, but like it's wet erase or not wet erase. Don't do that. That was the first marker I bought. Bad idea. But yeah, just something to like. I don't ever trust my brain to remember shit. So as I pointed out several times today with names. So I try to write stuff down, and then I get fleeting notes into like a database thing on my computer.
Cool.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in. Do you have anything to plug?
I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/icecoldbrew doing a Dark Souls playthrough.
Yes.
And also can't plug my partner stuff because she's doing great work, and I think more people should go check her out.
Yeah.
Yes.
She is twitch.tv/hilarity. You can also find her on Twitter at hilarityart. She just reached 1920 followers, so she actually put down an art piece of her icon in 1910s clothing. It's really good. It's really, really good. Go check out her work.
Can you spell that out? Because I can think of 12 ways to spell the word you said.
Yes, yeah. There. Oh, God, I can't type today. God. Hilarity.
Cool. So that's HOLLARITY for those listening in an audio medium.
Yeah.
Or hilarity art. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Follow.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Last call. Very special last call coming soon. There's only one remaining in the queue, and that is friend of the show, Nevin Holmes. As if anybody hasn't been friend of the
Also,
show.
thank you to everyone who's stuck around for the overflow time. It's been very appreciative. You're all wonderful people. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, we want this to be an hour, but I don't know when to close the queue.
I don't know how
because
to
we're
say
learning.
goodbye. Yeah.
But it's fun. Hello, thank you for calling the Tabletop Call-In Show. Who are we talking to?
Hi, hello. My name is Nelson. I use they, he pronouns. Long-time caller. I've never listened to the show before.
That's good energy. Just call in.
Never listen.
Honestly, I
I'm just
love
gonna
that.
call in.
Yeah, don't listen.
I'm
don't
just gonna-
engage.
I'll just call you on Discord throughout the week. Just say, hey, don't forget this one.
Hey, what's going on anyway?
Sorry, I just saw Vid calling me out. That's a little much. First off, I want to say this show rips. Y'all are killing it. I love the
Yes,
energy.
Beyblade.
Good deep cut there. So what I want to talk about, or ask about rather, is genres. A cursed word in every single medium that it's in. But I find myself thinking a lot, especially lately because of a project I'm working on. I find myself thinking a lot about what makes a genre in an RPG, and also, side question, if you could make a genre piece, like horror, sci-fi, something like that, in the medium, or see more people do that genre, what would it be?
Yeah. You look at it. Okay, it's me. So
You made me go first the last 3 times.
Look, I just want to make sure.
I have answers. But you're gonna go first.
I'm just here to make sure I'm not talking over you every time. It's why I make you go first. What can you say? I forgot the question already. Genre. What?
You're asking the wrong person to remember a question.
The question was how do we use genres in games, if I'm correct? And then the secondary, because everyone gets secondary questions today. If you could make a specific genre piece of content, what would that piece be?
Or if you could see more of a genre represented in the medium, because like we get fantasy, we get sci-fi, we get, there's so many things that we get so much. What's something that you wish we saw more of?
Yeah, that's a great question. This is a great 2-parter. Yeah. Each part greater than the last. So what would I want, or what do we do? How do we do genre?
This is what happens when we reach the 70-minute mark.
Yeah. So genre is very much tied to like the mechanics of the game. Like mechanics are the biggest tool a game designer has. Obviously, this feels obvious to say, but it's good to say it. Like the mechanics of the game, and like when you actually engage with the mechanics is how you do the best job of, or have the easiest job of evoking genre. Because you can write in your like flavor text all you want that like this is a horror game, but then if your horror game has no mechanics that like make you scared or like no mechanics that push on that. So an example would be like 10 Candles is maybe the only horror game I've actually played, but like 10 Candles has 2 things that evoke horror. It has 10 candles that go out over the course of a game, and once they're out, everybody dies. And it has a dice pool that is equal to the number of candles that are around. So as the candles go out, you're less and less likely to have control over the narrative and thus the fate of your character. So those 2 things, like, no matter whether the author said, like, this is horror, this is going to be scary, this is about dwindling resources, those 2 things immediately, like, put you in that space to tell a horror story. Because you're in, like, you are mechanically bound to be in a dark room playing only by the light of candles, which, like, that's good shit. So, like, this is another thing that, like our first question, you could probably do a whole podcast on this, trying to like piece together like genre of the week. Here's how you do this type of genre. Here are some games that do this type of genre. Here are the type of mechanics that you can push on. But like at the end of the day, it is just, for me at least, like a big mechanical thing. Looking at each piece of your game and like figuring out how does this apply to the genre I'm shooting for. That makes sense. No? Were you anywhere with that? Is that anything?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it, and I totally agree.
For me, so there was a book that I read last year or the year before when I was doing the Nanowrimo stuff. See, full circle. It's called Story Grid, and it's by Sean Coyne, who runs not Title Boxing, Black Irish Boxing. It doesn't matter. Anyways, in the book, when he talks about genre, see, we use genre as like a categorical database to point fingers at something and say, this is a horror something, this is a fantasy something. And he actually kind of does the reverse engineer of it and talks about how genre is a toolkit that helps people find that categorical point. So an example would be in like the horror genre. Instead of saying like, oh, we stumbled across this film and as we watched it, we discovered or projected onto it that's horror. That's not necessarily true. In the book, in Story Grid, it talks about what are the elements that makes a horror game. Or excuse me, in this case, it's a horror film or novel. But for us, we would analyze like, what are the necessary pieces to get the point across that this is horror? And do we have to obey those things / what do we subvert about them? So like in horror, there is always a monster that is stronger than the protagonist. And the monster doesn't have to be like a literal monster, right? We've seen horrors where the monster is a human being who murders people. We've seen horror movies and thrillers where like it's not a physical entity, but a singular entity, but like a hive mind or an environmental source. So it's about analyzing when it talks about novel and film, what are the conventions of that genre and what are the obligatory scenes that you need in that genre that you have to analyze, and if you want to change them or not, so to subvert them, that tells the viewer that this is what the genre is. You have to tell the viewer what the genre is by using this tool set. And I think that was powerful for me because it was always hard for me to like make a story. Like when I was GMing games, when they said, yeah, we want to see more horror themes. And like, I don't know what that means because I don't know what is required of horror. But when I stumbled upon this book and learned that they're just toolboxes with tools inside of them, it's like, oh, okay, I now see that like, okay, if I'm going to have a action movie, I need a moment in which the hero has to sacrifice or something like that. Or in a horror story, I have to create a moment where the hero is the victim of the monster in some way. And that's like the climax or whatever. So I view genre as tool pieces to use to get my point across. And then, talk about how do we make that into games? It's like, what sort of mechanics does your game care about, or does that genre care about, right? When we talk about like, I'm excited to have Ava on Draw Your Dice in the near future. I think that she is a OSR mastermind, and I'm really excited to learn a lot from her. So I'm about to say something that I may not know a whole lot about, but I feel like OSR has like a lot of high lethality components to it that care about like resources and rations and torches and dark and light and all these extra pieces. And those are things that like tell you that a game is an OSR, and then you as a designer have to decide, okay, how do I subvert those things? So I go to the nitty gritty and care about every gram that your fucking gold coin weighs, and that's your carrying capacity, or do I make like a grid inventory box that's just like a puzzle game for you to take stuff out of the dungeon, right? That's the subversion of that same exact thing. So that's my answer for the genre thing. And then the piece I would like to see probably more of, again, Ava has an article over on cranial damage. I don't remember the name of the blog off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Ava. But there's an article that had an interesting sentence about what is hip hop fantasy, and I'm currently like trying to figure out what that is in my brain. Thank you. It's in the chat. permacrandomblogspot.com. .blogspot.com for the podcast viewer. I'm sorry, I was really close to the mic on that one too, because I was really trying to read it. So sorry, everyone's ears. Permanent cranial damage. Thank you.
Permacrandam.
Those are my
.blogspot.com.
answers.
Yeah, cool. What did you say the one that you want to see more of? Well, you just said that.
Hip hop fantasy.
Yeah, perfect. I want to see comedy.
Awesome.
I want more comedy games.
Comedy's hard to do
Yeah.
for some very understandable reasons.
Right, yeah, because, I mean...
Y'all ever played Cards Against Humanity? Well,
I wouldn't even know where to begin trying to write a comedy
Yeah.
game. But I don't know if I'm funny enough for it.
you're funny.
Yeah, sure, but like... But it takes a certain level of... Yeah, good.
I was just gonna say, I believe Hella Cheesy 22 is Ava, and D&D is a comedy game. So, she did it.
Neva, what genre do you want to see? I always have to turn the question around.
Yeah, that's a good one. Whatever genre the first Tron is. Like it's kind of like an adventure, but it's very like slow and considered, and has a lot to do with like exploring a world. I mean, it's an isekai, but it's a specific kind of isekai. I'm super here for like Tron shit, not just aesthetically but tonally. I think it's got some really cool stuff going on, and horror. I love horror. I'm working on horror. It's good.
It's good. Can't wait to talk about it, Nevin.
Oh, I'm stoked.
70s sci-fi, but Starkiller Fish says Tron 70s sci-fi, like 2001 Space Odyssey, slow exploration.
Yeah, that stuff. I'd consider 2001 a horror movie, but you know.
Can't let you consider it that, Nevin.
Okay, that's fine.
Is it?
You don't have
to. Get it? Do you get it? The other genre I guess I would like to see, which is why I'm working on it, is stuff in like the post-revolutionary space, which can be a little more hopeful, a little more... Because we do a lot of post-apocalypse in this tabletop world.
Solar punk.
So yeah, solar punk is cool. Just anything that was like, yeah, we started to make a better world. Here's a game about like actually making it good. And forcing players to think about what that looks like, and really heavy-handed shit. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm making.
Inspire.
Yeah. Nevin, what do you have to plug for us?
So many things. I'll start with Kitchen Nightmares. Myself and Chris Passett are working on a hack of This Discord Has Ghosts in It. It's live on Kickstarter right now for 15 more hours. We just hit our first stretch goal. It's called Kitchen Nightmares. You can find it at bytes.rip/nightmares. bytes.rip/nightmares. And a medieval knight.
Yeah, and if you want to see that played, you can watch me slowly degrade. You don't get to see my face, but you can see me slowly degrade over 4 hours if you look up the Roll Plus Bond YouTube or Twitch channel, where I played Kitchen Nightmares for so long.
And that's Kitchen Nightmare with a K. Nightmare with a K.
Yeah. Oh god, that was so good. You can also find me on Twitter at Fork20. You can find my games and hire me to write for your games at nevin.games. And I'm also going to go ahead and plug my wife's stuff. You can find her on Twitter at DinoBerryJam. She's a freelance graphic design and layout and visual artist who's starting to dip her feet into the TTRPG space.
That face.
I'm excited. Starting to dip their toe. Yes.
Oh yeah.
She is extremely good.
Yeah.
I say this entirely unbiased. Everything she does blows my frickin' mind.
I've seen some stuff. It looks pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And by pretty good, I mean real good. All
it's
right.
good.
Well, thank you, Nevin, for calling in. You should be receiving your I called in on the first show badge. Probably never, but
I'm gonna sell it. Make like $20 off of that.
that's all you think we're worth?
Just sell us an NFT.
Good exit. All right. That's the cue. Everybody's gone. We've done it.
Wow. What a first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not it has a value that decides how good it was, I can't say.
You're running out of steam here, aren't you?
No steam running out. I just, great show, everyone. I loved all our callers today. Thank you to all the callers. If you're still here watching and listening, I've had a blast. Adam, Have you had a blast?
I've had a blast. Love the support. Everybody who watched, listened, I really appreciate it. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Because there's a world where Jeremy and I could have had this idea and then streamed to nobody and just sat here like this for up to 1 hour.
I would have pushed up. Like, I would have been working out.
Yeah.
Same time. Maybe that'll be next episode. I just work out while we answer questions.
I'll type that into the ideas
the
for special episode workout show.
Episode. Do yoga with me while I answer questions. My breathing will be fucked.
Yeah, I just really breathing heavy into the mic. Just what everybody wants.
Yeah. Which I already did. Thank you. I can't stress enough how thankful I am. We are that everyone was here chatting, and I had a great time.
Me too. We'll be back next week, same time, 4 p.m. EDT, because we've just switched. I have to redo the graphic because we are no longer in standard time. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the raid button. So go watch a little bit of this puppet show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is weekly.
This is weekly. Yeah.
We've done this to ourselves.
We've committed to at least an amount of. We won't disclose how many we've committed to with each other.
I want to say it out loud in case that changes.
But we want to try to do this often because it seems fun. Oh, they're running a rerun. Oops. Should I not raid? Should I raid? Okay, yeah, I'm still gonna do it.
Okay.
Raid.
Follows.
Nerds here. Yeah, follow the channel. I probably won't stream anytime soon anything else, but like eventually I'm sure I'll do some other stream one-off. But Sundays at 4, my time, our time, we'll be here. Have a great...
We live together.
Oh.
I'm behind you. Thank you, everyone. It's been great.
See you later.
Black us out.
Yeah. Break.
Hurry up.
Here's the bad music fading in.